Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ video here on NoDQ.com as always, and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. You can also follow me on my personal account at AaronRift on YouTube and on all platforms of social media, including Twitter and Facebook. Got your questions today from Twitter using the hashtag PAIV. So let's get started with the first one, which comes from Garrett Mills. Is the Neville situation the same thing as the CM Punk situation, or is it any different? They definitely seem very similar if the rumors about Neville are true, that he is unhappy with his storyline direction and character development in WWE, being part of the Cruiserweight division, having to put over Enzo, being called ugly by Enzo, but as of this video, Neville has not publicly spoken out about what's going on in WWE. The big difference could be him and WWE might work out whatever differences they are having. Time will tell. CM Punk obviously was very frustrated with his position in WWE, and he was vocal about it. He spoke out. He did Colt Cabana's podcast. Time will tell if Neville works things out with WWE or if he goes back to the indies and speaks his mind about WWE. That is really the big difference right now. So we still don't know what is truly going through Neville's head. Like I mentioned on NoDQ Live, we do know that he was publicly frustrated about his t-shirt design. But beyond that, we really don't know, other than he did leave Monday Night Raw and WWE had to change plans. Neville was originally supposed to face Enzo and lose, by the way, but WWE had to change things up and go with Kalisto in the match. And then WWE decided, well, since it's Eddie Guerrero's birthday, let's put the title on Kalisto. What the hell? And that's what happened. Got this one here from Jay. If Conor McGregor and WWE come to terms with a one-off appearance at Wrestlemania 34, who should he feud with? I've seen a lot of different opinions on this. I think that if Conor McGregor was going to have one match in WWE, you should put him in there with a fairly significant name. I look back at Floyd Mayweather and Big Show. That worked, and Big Show wasn't a top tier guy, so it wasn't that bad when you had Floyd Mayweather beat him. And almost in a similar fashion to 1995 when Lawrence Taylor beat Bam Bam Bigelow. It wasn't like Lawrence Taylor was beating Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart, one of the top stars. He was beating one of the upper mid-carders. So ideally, I mean, let's face it, Conor McGregor is not going to come in and lose to somebody. The ideal outcome of this is for McGregor to have some fun, make some money, and WWE gets more eyeballs on their product, and in the end creates new fans. People sample WrestleMania and they stay invested in the product. So how does WWE accomplish that? That is really the ultimate goal. It's not so much who you put McGregor in there with, it's a matter of getting the people that will tune in for the first time to be hooked and stay on as viewers. That is really the key. So who do you put McGregor in there with? Do you put him in there with Triple H, who could work a safe match with him? Do you put him in there with somebody like Enzo, who could cut great promos back and forth with Conor McGregor? There's a lot of different options. What do you guys think? Leave a comment, let me know. Got this one here from ASG. Do you have a favorite bad wrestler? Someone who was objectively bad, but a guilty pleasure for you to watch. Does Enzo count? I mean, Enzo's not even a bad wrestler. He's just a decent wrestler in a sea of great wrestlers. Maybe Lex Luger would be a good example. I mean, Luger was never that good in the ring. Many would consider him to be a bad wrestler, but he did have some good matches when he was in there with people like Ric Flair. Maybe the Great Khali would be a good answer. Great Khali, I do not think there was any version of Great Khali that was a good wrestler. He was a bad wrestler. He could barely move in the ring. But just the absurdity of him being in there and doing the Kali chop to people. In a way, it was entertaining. So maybe I would go with Kali as my top pick. Just for entertainment value. He was so bad that it was actually fun to watch him at times. I mean, after a while, by the time they pushed him down the card and he was doing the Kali kiss cam and feuding with Kane, by that time I felt like any value Kali had because of his size and his unique look, that just no longer mattered, and it was just boring by that point. Got this one here from Candy Corn Cruz. Does WWE have something against Mickie James? They had an angle with Lay Cool calling her fat. Now Alexa is calling her old. There's no issue. WWE is anti-bullying. I really don't know, to be honest with you. Maybe they do have something against her. I know the whole thing about her being old, that's just a way to get heel heat on Alexa. It's not necessarily somebody in WWE trying to bully her and make fun of her for being old. We're in a different era now. Maybe the whole thing with the Mickie James angle was done to humiliate her. But I think now, I mean, she's a veteran. She's been around for a while. So, of course, you're going to have the younger stars saying the old stars can't hang anymore. They need to go away. And this story is fairly typical, not just in WWE, but in movies like Rocky. You have the older guy and the younger guy's trying to take him down. So it's a fairly typical story. And we've even seen it with the men too. We've seen people try to take down John Cena and say John Cena's washed up, he's past his prime, he's old, it's time for the new guys to shine, he's holding back the younger guys. That whole thing. We saw it in WCW a lot. We've seen it in WWE time and time again, where you have the veteran who's trying to be dethroned by the younger guy, and the younger guy's saying this guy's too old, he needs to go away. So that's kind of what's going on with Mickie James, and I don't necessarily think it's her being bullied. It could be, but I don't know. I really don't. This one comes from DJ Birdy Booster. What do you think about the Shield entering the arena at TLC in SWAT vans, since their gear looks like a SWAT team? Absolutely, I love that idea. I think they should go full force with an epic entrance. This is the Shield's big comeback, and the fans are really into this. The numbers have held up for Raw with the Shield reuniting. The YouTube video, I think, did the most views since the Hardys came back at WrestleMania. There's definitely a lot of fan interest in the Shield reuniting. So for this pay-per-view coming up, TLC, I say go all out. Have a big Hollywood-style entrance, just like, think about DX in 2009 when they returned at SummerSlam with the big tank. Do something like that with the SWAT vehicles and maybe have some pyro. I mean, why not? I know WWE's trying to cut back on costs, but this is a special occasion. And the pyro will mean even more the fact that we haven't seen it that much. You do it for the Shield's entrance to make it all that more special. So yes, I would say go all out with the SWAT entrance and just make the biggest, most elaborate entrance possible for these guys. You're trying to get Roman Reigns over, so why not? This one comes from Danny0512. Best TNA year, 2005, 2006, or 2007? Please answer. What, no 2010 option? I'm kidding. 2005, I think, was my personal favorite year of TNA. I just feel like that was when the X Division really peaked. AJ Styles was having phenomenal matches, to use his own phrase. We still had Jeff Jarrett as the world champion, but TNA was starting to build some serious momentum, and then of course you had that Unbreakable match, which many would say was the greatest match in TNA history, and they debuted on Spike TV. They had the Hardys, well, they had Jeff at least. They had Team 3D come in. 2006 was also a good year when you had Kurt Angle coming in, you had Sting. Definitely one of those 2 years. 2007 for me was a mixed bag. I thought some of the angles were really ridiculous, like that electrified cage and Kurt Angle walking around in his underwear. So 2007 was a mixed bag. 2009 was a bit of a mixed bag too, but it felt like TNA was really at its peak of popularity in 2009. And I did enjoy the Main Event Mafia. It's just the front line was incredibly lame. First of all, the name was stupid, naming it after flea medicine for cats. I mean, who came up with that? Russo? Seriously. If the guys feuding with the Main Event Mafia, and going back to that earlier question, another storyline where it was the young guys versus the old guys, if the young guys had actually prevailed and kicked Scott Steiner's ass and Booker T's ass, you know, that storyline would have been really successful. But I did enjoy the stuff with Mick Foley too and Sting. So there were some interesting storylines. Unfortunately, the veterans like Samoa Joe, or excuse me, the up-and-coming guys like Samoa Joe were being held back, and I think they did that ninja angle in 2009. I just think in terms of the least amount of stupid storylines, 2005 was the best year for TNA. This one comes from Hannibal. Hey Aaron, do you hear about John Morrison, if he'll go back to WWE or not? So I get this question often, and I'm not sure why I'm answering it again, but I am, just to refresh everyone's thoughts on it and questions about it, just to clear things up. He's not going back to WWE anytime soon. He is now part of TNA/GFW/Impact Wrestling, whatever they're called, and he's going to be their top babyface for the foreseeable future. I get the question all the time about Morrison. Will he come back? I think the door is always open for him to come back, but it just hasn't worked out. He's been doing Lucha Underground, he's doing Impact Wrestling, he's got other things going on, and I think he enjoys being away from WWE. Will he be back one day? I think it's possible. But until it actually happens, I mean, don't expect it. If it happens, it'll happen when he's ready. But until then, just let him do what he's going to do, and there's no need to ask it every month or every 6 months. When's he coming back to WWE? It'll happen when he's ready, when the timing is right for him. This one comes from Steven. Trivia contestant, by the way. If WWE does John Cena versus Jinder Mahal and Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, who out of Cena and Reigns is going to win the Rumble? I really hope neither. I think we need to see a fresh face win this year's Royal Rumble. Somebody who has never won before, and somebody who is a rising star in WWE. I'm tired of the repeat winners. We see it all the time. Whether it's Triple H winning again, or Cena winning again, or Orton winning again, or Reigns winning again. I think Reigns won once, but it's felt like he's won multiple times. He's been close to winning, I think, 2 other times besides the time he won. Maybe 3. I mean, it feels like Reigns is almost always the Royal Rumble winner since 2014. So, I'd like to see somebody else now. If it's just between the 2 of them, I'd rather see Cena win. But I could see WWE having Reigns win again. I mean, imagine Roman Reigns winning the Rumble again in Philadelphia. How ridiculous would that be for WWE to piss off the fans and have Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble in Philadelphia once again? That would be having balls the size of grapefruits if they did that, if Vince did that specifically. So it might be funny just to see how angry the fans would get, but I'm not sure if it's the best thing for business. I mean, it's just going to frustrate the fans even more. Maybe WWE just doesn't care at this point, and their attitude is they control the fans and get away with it. It would be interesting if WWE actually had the gall to have Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble again. But I'd like to see somebody new personally. But WWE doesn't care what I think or what you think. They care about what they want to do. Roman Reigns is the guy, and if they want him to win the Royal Rumble, he's winning the Rumble. This one comes from Turbonius. Who do you think will feud with Baron Corbin for the US title, and what's next for Nakamura? Maybe you just answered the question right there. Baron Corbin versus Nakamura for the US title. It's looking to me like AJ is going to be in the main event picture again soon, whether it's against Jinder Mahal or somebody else. I feel like AJ will be back in the WWE title picture, and it was pretty clear off of SmackDown this week that the AJ Corbin thing is over. Corbin beat him in the rematch, clean in the middle, so it looks like Corbin's going to move on to somebody else. Nakamura lost to Mahal fairly cleanly after failing to win the title on 2 occasions, so you would think that that feud is over as well. So just switch them up. AJ goes to Mahal and Nakamura goes to Corbin. I think that that is a very likely scenario for Baron Corbin. Maybe Baron Corbin versus Bobby Roode, but right now it's looking like the Ziggler-Roode feud will be continuing. Nakamura doesn't seem to have a program right now. Maybe Orton. Maybe Randy Orton versus Baron Corbin for the U.S. title. That could also be a possibility. Got this one here from Alex Suggs. Could we possibly see Sami Zayn turn on Kevin Owens instead of the usual other way around? I would love Zayn to turn on Owens and it lead to a heel Zayn versus a face Owens at WrestleMania. Your thoughts? That would be interesting. If they could pull that off, I would be impressed. I mean, right now, I think it's too soon to say if this Sami Zayn heel turn will be successful. I thought the promo was good on SmackDown. I don't think it was perfect. And the fans were still largely cheering for him. And the fans cheer for Owens a lot too. So, I mean, I think fans would like to see Kevin Owens as a babyface. Maybe both of them turn face. Maybe we'll get a swerve here. Maybe Shane McMahon will go heel. I've seen a few people suggest that idea, that it's hard to really sympathize with Shane, and a lot of people sympathize with Sami Zayn, feeling, yeah, the guy wasn't getting pushed and he was being held down, and they feel Sami Zayn was justified and Shane was going to try and end Owens' career. A lot of people can sympathize with them. So maybe WWE will do a swerve. I mean, 20 years ago, it would be up to the fans. If the fans were cheering for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon would be the heel. But 2017, like I said in that previous question, WWE does what they want to do despite what the fans think. Vince says he's a good listener. I think that that was a very safe answer to make everyone feel like their voices matter. Vince is just saying the good PR thing. Hey, yeah, we listen to the fans. We do what the fans want. They used to. Now, I'm not so sure. You know, Vince also said that one line years ago, that he knows what the fans want better than them. And I think that that was a shoot. I think that that was what Vince really feels. So we'll see. But if the fans keep cheering for Owens and Zayn, I say turn them both face. Now, if you're going to have them as heels and eventually they break up, then yeah, I like that idea. Instead of the predictable route of having Owens turn on Zayn again. We've seen it before with Owens and Jericho. Change it up. Have Zayn as the heel. But Zayn needs to really get over as a heel and be able to get that heat, I think, for it to really work. And right now, like I said, it's too soon to tell. That'll do it for this edition of NoDQ Video. Thanks as always for watching. I really do appreciate the support. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding the upcoming TLC pay-per-view with the Shield reunion. NoDQ.com will have you covered. I will be at Raw Monday night in Portland. I will be doing NoDQ Live afterwards at midnight, 9 Pacific time. So stay tuned for that. Please keep spreading the word about NoDQ Video. Tell a friend. Share this video on social media platforms. Buy a shirt at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search NoDQ. And thank you all that have purchased t-shirts. That is a great way you can support myself and the website by picking up a shirt and repping at WWE events or wrestling events in general. And just in general, spreading the word about NoDQ Video. With that being said, I will see you guys next time.